Hello and welcome back to Dylan and Ross Save Sports. I am one of your hosts, as always, Dylan Sanders. Ross is somewhere in the world. Who knows? But we're not. I'm not alone here for the start of the show. Here at the top of the hour, we have joining us none other than our East Coast correspondent, Sarah Griffin. How are you doing, Sarah?
I'm doing swell. How are you doing?
Listen, I'm doing great. I don't know why Ross hates you, but he always seems to be really busy whenever you come on the show.
Yeah, what
I
the
think.
heck?
Well, you know what it is. He saw your tweet yesterday about how Firefly is the song of the summer.
It
And
is.
he was like, I cannot talk to Sarah.
That seems to be the common theme after that tweet. That might be my most controversial tweet. And to be honest, I was kind of just like, I'm just gonna rattle this one off and see what happens.
And it was a terrible, terrible decision, as
Got
it seems.
ratioed, as they say.
You did. You had Boston Bruins Stanley Cup champions coming at you.
I didn't like it. No one liked it.
No one really did. Wow. I mean, I get it. I really have a distaste for that song, and it might not be the song's fault. I've heard it just a lot, and I used to work at a gym, and they played it every 5 seconds. So I really and truly hate this song. But explain yourself. Explain. I need to know why.
I think I just heard it for the first time in a while last weekend. I was like, you know what? This song has a great beat to it. I know everyone clowns on it and stuff. I'm like, this is not that bad of a song. I think it's kind of like the same thing that happened with Rebecca Black on Friday. It was just really overplayed. And so I've been overplaying it now. I had it on loop last night.
You had it on loop?
Yeah.
A loop?
Now I'm kind of afraid because I use Spotify and I'm like, oh my god, at the end of the year, that's going to be my most played song.
Oh my god. It probably is. I cannot wait to see your Spotify Wrapped and just see Owl City Fireflies there.
It's going to be like Olivia Rodrigo and then Fireflies.
I mean, last year was just my entire thing was Mac Miller and Taylor Swift, and
yeah,
honestly,
Taylor Swift.
And honestly, it was true. It was representative of what I listened to. But let's talk about baseball. Let's talk about how's the weather in the East Coast. You know, this is how we have to start every time. We don't live on the East Coast, so we need to know.
Right now, actually today I was like, oh, it's going to be because we had a really bad heat wave last week. So I didn't really like to go for a run every day. So I was like, nah, I'm not going for a run. It's 100 degrees out. I think I'd pass out. So then today I was like, oh, it's 73. That doesn't sound too bad. So I went for a run today. It's still pretty hot out. I won't lie to you.
Did you say it's 73 and you're like, it's a little too hot out? Do you want to know what it is right now outside my house?
What is it?
It's 99 degrees.
Nope.
It is 99 degrees right now outside. Earlier I was driving home. I feel like I almost passed out driving home because the heat index had gotten up to 113 or something like that. And
no, I can't.
And so 73 is literally a perfect day. Are you kidding me?
It was nice, but maybe just not for running. But also, I'm like, I swear I've ran on hotter days and I was fine. I don't know what it was today. Maybe there's just because there's no wind whatsoever, no clouds. I was like, oh, I'm going to pass
out. So how is it in Boston right now? How's the sports world in Boston?
After the whole Bruins loss, I mean, obviously the Celtics lost however long ago that was now. I don't know. I don't really pay attention to them. The Bruins loss is devastating for me, but the Red Sox are okay. So they've been doing pretty solid. I'm not going to say they've been amazing, but they've been good. They've been keeping the spirits up since the Bruins loss.
How was the Astros series the other day? The last 2 Astros series have been pretty fun for me, at least.
I would say maybe for you.
Yeah.
Both times I'm like, how is this series still going on? Can we just end this stupid thing?
Yeah. I mean the Red Sox, they're 41-27 right now. And here we go, joining us live on the go. Not on the go, but live in the middle of the middle of the show. It's Ross Jackson. How you doing, Ross?
Everybody, thanks for your patience with me today. Give me one moment.
All good, all good. We're just talking about how happy we are with our baseball teams, Ross. How about you? You're muted, so. But the Red Sox, what's been the best part of the Red Sox season so far?
Best part of the Red Sox season?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I feel like I'm biased because of last night's win. Alex Verdugo has been fantastic. I love watching Alex Verdugo.
Mm-hmm.
I really do just love Alex Verdugo, to be
Is that about it?
No, like there's plenty of guys now that I'm like, oh, like I really start to like Christian Arroyo. You know, he's a sneaky good pickup. Like he's a fun guy. I love Garrett Whitlock. He's so like wholesome and cute, and he got to play in front of his family for the first time last night. Got his first major league hit. But I don't know. The big show last night was just Alex Verdugo. So.
And the night before, you were actually at the game with the walk-off. How did that feel?
Oh, thank God. It started raining because that was the whole thing. I was like, this game's going to be rained out. I almost didn't go because of it. It's cleared up right before the game started. And in the ninth inning, like, I was like, there's no way they're going to get out of this game winning 1-0. And it's just going to be like that. There's no chance. Then top of the ninth, it starts raining. Then Vladdy comes up, and I was like, here we go. Here it is. And he just launches one. I'm like, yep. I thought for sure it was going to go into extra innings, but it did not. Thank God. I was getting tired.
I feel like the Vlad Guerrero Jr. MVP race talk has come out of nowhere. I don't know, but I just didn't expect it going into the season at all.
Like, he really heated up fast. I think I saw something say on Twitter because, you know, the Diamondbacks have been so bad. The last time that the Diamondbacks won a game since then, he's hit 18 home runs.
Oh my goodness.
Well, that might have something to do with it.
Wow. The Diamondbacks are atrocious.
Yeah, they're really, really bad. I think they've won 5 of their last 35 games. The last game they won was the one in like April 25th, I want to say.
Yeesh.
Good Lord.
No, bad Lord.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, you're not wrong. Tell me, is this normal, Sarah? Because I'm a more casual regular season MLB follower. Is it normal for a team to have 20 games in a row without a break? Because the Astros are about to go on a 20-game streak where there's no break.
20 games is actually a lot. I know it's like obviously been done before, but I don't think that's very common.
Yeah, they're about to play 20 straight games. Luckily, most of them are against like the Rangers and Tigers, so
Yeah,
you'll be fine.
Schedule.
Yeah, it's like playing like 2 good teams, but they just like the level of difficulty evens out after 20 games of playing Rangers.
Although I guess that's kind of what last season was. There were like no off days last year.
That's fair. That's fair. But we talked about this yesterday. We're all, baseball's stupid right now. Baseball's doing a lot of stupid things.
Sucks.
Baseball's being a bunch of idiots. Ross, you talked about it yesterday. Why don't you bring up what you talked about?
Yeah, so just as a reminder for everybody who joined, Sarah Griffin, thanks so much for being here with Pitchers List. And I feel like this really very much applies to your world, Sarah.
Yeah.
Everything going on with this idea of foreign substances to increase grip strengths, spider tack, the suntan, what is it, sunscreen and rosin, yeah, combination of things like that. So the way that they've gone about this is kind of, I think, hellacious in 2 different ways. Probably more, but you'll tell us about that. One of which being, here's a 10-day paid suspension for violating these rules, but also here's a massive rule change for the way that you play the game in the middle of the season. And I think both of those are something to be critical of when it comes to the MLB for trying to do this at this point. What has been your reaction, since this is right up your alley, covering, talking specifically about pitchers as you do, or not specifically about pitchers, but being somebody that covers pitchers as you do? What is your take on all of this in terms of how it can affect this game at this time?
So weirdly, about it was a few weeks ago, I started doing interviews for minor league players, just for a project I'm working on, whatever, just about life in the minor leagues. And one of the guys that I interviewed was the first player in any minor major league to be suspended because of using those foreign substances. Because he told me, he was I didn't realize this. I've just been doing so many interviews with these guys. I look at their stats, whatever. I'm that's it. I was oh, how's your season go? He's well, I'm suspended, so not that great. And here I was thinking, I was oh, is it a sensitive subject? I don't want to get it. No, I am suspended for using, because he's obviously a pitcher, for using foreign substance, whatever. He's but everyone does it. But I just happened to be the one. They're all right, you're starting. We're going to start in the minor leagues. You're the scapegoat, the person we're going to make the example out of. Wow. It was in the middle of the game and everything. He's yep, 10-game suspension, which obviously in the minor leagues, it's a lot bigger of a deal to be suspended 10 games down there when you're fighting for a spot and not making any money compared to major leagues. But he was yeah, just watch. It's going to be a ripple effect to the major leagues over the next couple weeks. And sure enough, I'm I understand, you do. I think you do need to regulate some of these things, but you can't implement it in the middle of a season already, and clearly can't do, considering Tyler Glasnow just yesterday was I 100% believe I'm injured because all of a sudden I'm going from using a little bit of something to going cold turkey, and it's a completely different game now.
Right.
And some of the regulations, what is it saying? They're oh, pitchers are going to be checked throughout the game, all this goof. I'm the other thing with MLB is we need to speed up the game. I'm now they're going to be doing security checks throughout the game.
Right.
I don't know. I just think they're going about it all wrong. I understand the thinking behind it, but you should not be doing it right now and not such strict, crazy. It's not black and white, in my opinion.
How do you feel about the idea of controlling or coming up with some type of a controlled substance that can be used by pitchers, sort of the same way we see chalk in for gymnasts, the same way
pine tar on bats,
right? These types of things.
Yeah, I think if they could come up with one, it could even be more than one, just a list of acceptable things, or just one specific substance that pitchers could use. I think that would be fine. And I know people are oh, pitchers are making excuses now for how they're not performing the same. I feel if they had one acceptable substance they would make do, they would just adjust their game rather than just going completely cold turkey Tyler Glasnow was saying. He's some guys that's just, you can't do that now.
Yeah.
They're so reliant on it. Not reliant on we all know they still have the talent, whatnot, but it's almost for safety purposes for some of them.
Yeah. Have you had conversations with anyone that's pointed out anything regarding changes? Because I know the MLB tends to make a lot of changes to the game balls, and that tends to be a little bit of a situation in terms of the inconsistency of that or something along that line. Would that help to unify the way that we look at that?
I was just reading something earlier, actually, that JD Martinez was saying. He's oh, I'm all for regulating, all that stuff. He's because I've noticed over the last 2 seasons, especially, there's something different with the ball. I don't know if the actual balls they're using or because those pitchers are using more foreign substances, but I'm they've always been using them. That's the thing. And everyone's been saying for the last couple of years, there's something up with these balls. And they've even said oh yeah, we switched them out, and it was just kind of swept under the rug. I feel that they were using balls that, what was it, 2018, 2019, that home runs all the time, whereas now you never see crazy games like that anymore, really.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a really interesting thing to watch. I think it has sparked some interesting discourse, and I think that it's shown a little bit of an example of why, if you're a major league like this, and I know we just got done last week, we were praising the fan-controlled football league because of how quickly they can institute rule changes, but the league was built to allow for that, and they're not going to do it.
for an example, Sarah, they implemented a rule change in the middle of like the third quarter of one game.
Yeah, and they had one to where it was like in between two games, right? It was like a double header, and they did it in between two games. But the league is built to support that, and the rule changes aren't ones that could potentially put somebody at risk, like what we're seeing here with what's happening with the MLB. So I just think it's a very interesting conversation and another look into the MLB for better or worse.
Yeah, no, I think, like you said, in that league, it's like sustainable. Like it's not like these crazy changes. And I know another thing MLB does a lot, which I've also like heard now through interviewing some other minor leaguers, like we're kind of like the test subjects in the minor leagues. Like any like changes and rule changes they want to try out, they try on the minor leagues first and see how it goes. And then they'll see, like, a lot of them don't ever really translate to the major league. And they're like, it's weird that such a drastic change like this was just automatic, like, overnight. You can't use these anymore. You'll have these big, like, punishments, all this.
Yeah.
Is that looked at as kind of, like, unfair to the minor leaguers that are trying to, like, learn the game of baseball and what they need to do in the MLB, but it's, like, a completely different game?
It's weird, because, like, this kid was telling me, he was like, yeah, like, I'm, like, trying to already, like, I'm worried about being, like, either cut from the team or sent down. And he's like, and then all of a sudden I'm out for 10 games for something that's not a big deal right now in the major leagues, at least. But right in the minor leagues, I'm being, like, suspended. My teammates are mad, like, all this stuff. It's like, this wouldn't be a problem in the major leagues. But
that doesn't make any sense. That's weird. Come on, baseball. I feel like, when's the last time someone said something positive about baseball? I feel like it's only been complaints.
They're just so clueless. Like, they're so clueless. And I'm not like, don't get me wrong, I very much do not like Rob Manfred, but I'm like, he's not the only one.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of like across the leagues. Is this like the worst run major sport?
NHL might have them beat, but it's honestly pretty close.
I know nothing about the NHL and how it's run. I'm gonna be real, but
NHL's also kind of a mess. And
they're all really a mess.
Tone deaf.
I think we're familiar with tone deafness covering the NFL.
Yeah, everyone's a little. All of these leagues are a little crazy. Yeah. They're all a little weird. I'd say the worst one run is probably the NCAA, but as for the professional sports,
to be fair, the NCAA is the only major one that doesn't pay anyone.
Mm-hmm. You are correct.
That already puts them way down.
Right, like it's yeah. Well, I'm not going to say what I was going to say, but anyway, it's not good. It's not good.
Yeah. But speaking of pay, I wanted to ask you, Sarah, what is obviously don't give away everything that you've talked about with for this minor league like article that you're writing and project you're working on, but like, what is the general consensus about the pay in the MLB in the minor leagues from these players?
The general consensus I've gotten is that you either basically you have to have some sort of side job, like you need to be doing something in the off season, like making good money, or you're kind of just screwed.
Okay, wait. When you say making good money in the off season, are you talking about like these guys need to be like molecular engineers, or is this like a situation to where
like construction or something,
like full time?
Their like focus is on baseball, so they're like, you want to do baseball related things, but you don't get like the money for it,
right?
Like, so like a lot of them, like they'll work at stores, they'll work in construction, like that type of stuff, and like, it's just not sustainable way of living. They're like, unless you already have like money, like it's like a lot of them are saying like that was the biggest reason that some of them left baseball altogether because they're like, I financially can't do this, and others are just like, you just kind of have to deal with it, battle through, keep working hard.
That's crazy.
Wow. So they risk potentially getting hurt working on construction sites during the off season, and they risk potentially falling into unnecessary new trends by potentially working at clothing stores and retail. over the course of the offseason.
Someone I'm talking to right now, like one of the guys, he's on the injured list right now. He's like, I've been doing landscaping just because otherwise, he's like, I have nothing else to do. Like, I need some sort of income. He's like, but I can only do so much landscaping.
For real. He's hurt. Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a reality check right there for me, big time.
Yeah.
To hear that.
Yeah, that's awesome. But so I want to ask you a little bit about hockey in the playoffs going on. Who's going to win? Who you got? You got.
And why is it the Golden Knights?
Yeah, I would say I want the Knights just because I hate every other team that's left.
Sarah.
I hate every team that's left.
I can't imagine why you'd be upset with the Islanders or, for that matter, the Lightning.
Yeah, Islanders, Lightning, I'm like, I wish they both could lose. And then, honestly, I don't hate this current Canadiens team, but just, like, being a Bruins fan over, I'm like, I can't bring myself to cheer for them. So, Knights it is, I guess.
The Golden Knights are the other ones that they haven't been around long enough to screw over Boston.
Exactly.
Right.
So,
Right.
I have nothing I can hate against them. They're still new.
There's no history there yet.
No.
My biggest concern is, do I remain a Golden Knights fan next season, or do I jump ship to the Kraken?
That's a pet because I'm very nervous for this expansion draft for the Kraken because I'm like, if it's anything like the Knights one where they just got freaking everyone.
And the crazy part is that the Knights aren't eligible for the expansion draft.
Yeah, which is so messed up. I'm like, are you kidding me?
That's part of why I want to stay a Knights fan, just because so many people are going to be mad about the fact that the Knights are still going to be good despite the expansion draft.
Well, imagine they win the Stanley Cup and then they also don't have to give up anything. That's so unfair.
I don't understand the logic behind it, too, because this is a team that would then go to a Stanley Cup final 3 out of 4 years. Is that right?
I would say they were in like the final, not like the Stanley Cup final last year, but yeah, the last few years they've made it. Like I think every 3 out of 4.
Yeah, they made the Stanley Cup playoffs 3 out of 4 years. Yeah, and so I don't understand at what point you look at them and say, nah, they're just not ready to be a part of an expansion draft.
Yeah, I'm like, clearly they got their feet on the ground. I think they're okay. Like we can take up.
It should be a subjective or a case-by-case basis. It should not be, or it should be like, if you finish in the Stanley Cup playoffs 3 out of 4 years, maybe specifically, then yes, you can be a part of the expansion draft.
See, that's another example where I'm like, NHL's incompetent, because in what way does that make sense? That they're just not ready yet.
It just completely lacked foresight.
Yeah, because this is something that was implemented that is a part of the expansion process, right? Like this exists beforehand.
Yeah.
So it should be more subjective in terms of the way that it does exist, where like the groundwork should be laid to say this team for 4 years or 5 years has not made the playoffs, therefore they're not eligible for an expansion draft. But they have made the playoffs 3 out of 5 years, so they will be, right?
So they're like practically an all-star team.
Right. And it's incredible.
So unfair.
It's so wild that happened. Like it would take an NBA expansion team 20 years to get to the playoffs. Just because of all of that works. And
shout out Charlotte Bobcats.
Oh man. Also, I want to bring something else back we talked about yesterday. Me and Ross have been thinking of like the best performances that we've seen recently. And I wanted to bring up this performance that me and Ross both loved. I'll just show it to you. It showed real grit and like just real on the fly knowledge, and it was just really impressive. Me and Ross taken aback by how good this person answered this question.
I'm scared.
And have you ever used spider tack while pitching?
I don't.
I'm nervous. What's happening?
I don't know if.
Oh, can you not hear it?
No.
Oh, that's so funny. She's heard nothing but silence and chuckling.
No.
Oh, that's sad.
No. That's so sad. It was Garrett Cole answering the question if he had ever used spider tack before. And just completely freezing. It's so unfortunate.
Yeah.
But yes, it was. I love it. Oh, and now,
She hated it. She hated it.
she hated it, and now she's gone. Right. R.I.P.
R.I.P. Sarah
Hashtag.
Griffin.
Oh man.
Man. Well, still a good time. Perfect time to answer. That was awesome. Well, we'll see if she ends up coming back. Why don't we jump to our break here, and then when we come back on the other side, we'll see. Is she here? She's made it back. Sarah's back. Sarah's
I'm
back.
Sarah's back.
Am I back?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're back. That was,
Have you seen that Garrett Cole video before?
Oh yes, I've seen it.
Oh man, so well. It's just so expertly prepared. Really good job by the PR staff around him. Just
I
great.
don't understand. Did he not anticipate that question was going to come up at some point?
I don't think so. I really don't think so. I don't, because it took the thing. It's New York media, but one of the things that Dylan and I credited was like, shout out to that reporter for asking, not being afraid to ask what is essentially a very tough question.
Yeah.
Like, you could get reamed for asking that question in certain markets. Of course, the New York media, they don't care, right?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you're whatever. But I mean, shout out to that reporter for doing it. I don't think Garrett Cole was ready for that question.
Well, that's what I was
I mean, clearly.
Clearly, he was not.
because I was talking to some people that are like a lot higher up in baseball media, whatever, just because I need some extra help with my project thing. And they're like, oh, the thing with minor leaguers is like they have no media training, whereas like major leaguers, like they're trained for any question that's going to come their way. Like they're trained to give you the most boring, generic question, and then like a day later that happened. I was like, well, it doesn't look like he was very well trained. He's Garrett Cole.
I was gonna say either he wasn't trained very well, or the training just didn't stick with him. You know,
I will say, through his years as a Houston Astro, I don't remember him doing that much media or anything memorable happening. And I guess that was for a reason.
he's the Tom Holland of the MLB. They just
like,
keep him away from interviews. Like,
just go pitch and just go throw the ball hard, by whatever means necessary, and just come back and then it was random. But also, could he have just not said no or yeah and then moved on? It was because I mean, obviously, like
Dylan, let's do it.
all right.
We'll do it with Dylan first, and then we'll do it with Sarah second.
Right.
Here we go. Dylan, have you ever used Spider Tack while pitching?
Yeah, I mean, everybody does.
All right. Thank you. All right, here we go. Sarah, are you ready?
No.
All right, here we go. This is Sarah not ready. Let's see if she can do better than Garrett Cole. Not prepared. Sarah, have you ever used Spider Tack while pitching?
Yep.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
All right,
It's done.
it's over.
done. Wow.
Oh man.
I think we just found two new folks that need to be training MLB players for media training. I think that's what we did. We just put another credit on your resume is what we just did here.
Oh yeah, or he could have just said, I mean, yeah, it's not addressed in the rules or anything like that. Like,
I plead the fifth.
Right. I don't know the answer to that question. Like,
but instead he went, and then shut down for 10 seconds, and then was like, I don't know, you know. Make it make sense. All right. But all right, yeah. Let's go to break. That was a fun random end, wild end to the segment with Sarah just dropping out in the middle of nowhere. It's that 70-degree Boston weather right now that's really took Sarah out.
yeah,
It's me.
it's
Ross,
it's all the data. It's all the data she's been using playing Owl City songs.
Can we get a? That's how we started. Today's episode. Ross, can we get a West Coast weather update?
Yeah, it's warm
It's warm.
and pretty.
Yeah, Sarah,
all I got for
it's
you.
73 degrees over in Boston. Sarah's complaining about how hot it is. And then
You want that kind of weather update?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, here we go.
Meanwhile, there's a heat index of 100 degrees in here, and over the next 2 days, we're going to get 30 inches of rain. So just enjoy
For
Boston.
real.
Keep complaining about Boston, Sarah.
It's not that bad here. It's really not
Okay,
that
that's
bad.
not really
It's
that bad.
88. It's 88. And here's something new for you, Dylan. When it says that it's 88 outside, And then it also says that it feels like 88 outside.
Oh,
I know
that
you
is-
don't know what that's like.
Yes, because it's always also like 90% humidity here as
Right.
well. So
Yeah, the humidity.
I'll
here
never
today-
forget, like, whenever I lived in New York, I would fly back from New York, go through all the airports, and then stepping out of the airport into Baton Rouge air, it felt like I was getting hit in the face by how just heavy the air feels here. It's really weird. But again, random into the segment. But thank you for joining us, Sarah.
Thanks
You can find
for
Sarah.
having me.
You can find
Always.
Sarah on Twitter at skg_18. These are always my favorite episodes to do, just because it's always really random. But yes, follow her on Twitter. Read what she writes on Pitcher List. Anything else to shout out?
I don't think so.
Nailed it.
Keep getting those brand deals.
Yeah, I will.
And hashtag verify Sarah.
Hashtag verify Sarah. Come be a host at Locked On, Sarah, and I'll get you verified.
All right.
That's
I'll do it.
my pitch. That's my pitch.
Awesome.
My pitch. See what I did there?
There we go.
All right.
There we go.
All right.
Did you use spider tack on that one? See, look, Ross, it's not that easy. I'm sorry.
Go on a break. Go on a break. Go on a break.
Thank you for joining us, Sarah.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.
It was a blast, as always.
Love it. All right, we're on break on the audio side, but video, we're still here, so who cares?
What are we doing in the second half hour? We have not.
We have
discussed
so
this
much to talk about.
Oh yeah, we do.
Yeah, there's so much.
It's been a pretty.
It's been a
been
big day.
But a pretty. Let me do this real quick. I'm gonna do a tankathon, real quick.
Oh, Sarah, you're gonna want to hang out for a tankathon.
Okay, yeah, I want to be here for what is this?
Because this
All right.
is where Dylan gets either really
right.
happy or massively disappointed.
All right, so the Houston Rockets finished with the worst record in the league this year. If in the lottery we're tied for the best odds, 3 best odds to get the number 1 overall pick. If this pick goes below pick 4, we then get pick 18. So
That's bad.
this season will have been for nothing if we don't finish in the top 4 in the NBA lottery next week.
So he's gonna
Let's-
simulate the lottery.
Let's go!
Oh, there you go.
Let's go. We get Kate Cunningham. All right, this is a good day. I will be having a meltdown on Twitter the entire lottery day. Just as a warning to anybody listening.
When is the lottery day? When is that?
It's I think exactly 1 week from now, or next Thursday. I think.
Ooh.
Hold, please.
Oh, I'm
Hold,
not
please.
ready. I am not
Yeah,
ready.
the 22nd.
Yep. So.
All right, I'll be watching for that then.
Oh, next Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's Tuesday. It's on Tuesday. So if you're watching for that, all right, Sarah. Thank you for coming by.
Of course.
It was a
Thanks
blast.
for having me, everyone.
Yeah, such a pleasure. Always.
See you next time.
Yes.
See you on Twitter.
Yes. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Sarah
All right.
is one of the best.
In the business,
that
if
we
not
can
the
ever have.
best.
If not
If
the
not,
best.
if not the best.
So much fun.
One NBA player tested positive for coronavirus in the last week. Can anyone guess who?
Based on the news that broke earlier, we might be able to. Woof, man. Did you see Shea Patterson got a new job?
No, I didn't.
Shea Patterson signed with the BC Lions
Oh,
for the Canadian Football League.
interesting. Good for him.
We're gonna take the Canadian Football League by storm.
All right. All right. I'm excited to go through talk about everything that has happened in the past day.
Yeah, it's been
Because there's been a lot. I need you to bring us back from break.
no problem. All right, everybody, we are back. Dylan and Ross Save Sports, full press coverage, full press radio network. Just me at the moment. Dylan had to run for just a sec. You can follow me on Twitter at Ross Jackson Nola, N-O-L-A. You can follow Dylan on Twitter at Dilly Sanders. Of course, you can check out Full Press Radio at Full Press Radio. So we have a lot of stuff to talk through today because of everything that has been going on all across the NBA in particular. Stan Van Gundy out in New Orleans. We saw Donnie Nelson leaving the Dallas Mavericks after decades of being with the team. There's Kawhi Leonard's injury is feared to potentially be an ACL injury. You have James Harden, who returned yesterday. Kevin Durant almost made Dylan look like a genius. I still would say made Dylan look like a genius, and that's where we'll start here. Kevin Durant had a phenomenal game last night, playing 48 minutes in the Nets and Bucks series, winning that game. The Nets did so that they could advance, or not advance, but that they could advance there or retake their lead within the series. But Kevin Durant, 49 points, played all 48 minutes of that matchup. An absurd game by him. The Brooklyn Nets would win that game 114-108. In addition to those 49 points, he also had 10 assists and 17 rebounds. An incredible performance. And Dylan, I would say, made you right yesterday. I know it wasn't 50 exactly, but 49, come on.
Come on. I was right there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I was right there. And I'll take I'll take credit for knowing that a big day was coming. For those that don't know, that didn't watch, check this out. Check out me being right.
Our favorite segment of the show.
Tonight's gonna be good. Ross, I'm calling it. Kevin Durant, 50 points tonight. 50 burger.
Right at all the haters.
Dumb.
Yep.
I was right.
Yep. This is our favorite segment of the show.
Yeah. The Dylan is right.
The Dylan is right segment.
No, and we were right,
I mean, I wasn't right about this. I didn't make any assumption here. I have been right on the show before. I've also been wrong on the show before, and we have much more fun when we're right.
We do.
So pretty good stuff. Kyle wants to know if the Bucks win the series, if his 10-day suspension of being on screen is over.
I can't help you. I can't help you today, Kyle, because the chat's not loading for me.
Oh, okay. Well,
I have not seen any chats from today's episode.
Oh, he has been in here for hours writing.
I have not seen. Let me see if this will help.
Just
Kyle, say something.
On screen? Yeah, let's see.
Yeah,
we'll wait and see if it pops up.
We'll wait and see if
this could be very dangerous. This could be very dangerous. The other thing is, okay, so the Bucks now lead that series 3-2. They have the opportunity to close out the series in tomorrow, but tonight we get Atlanta and Philly. Atlanta tying up the series. The series now going back to Philadelphia, and then we get the Clippers going back to Utah to play against Utah. But the Clippers potentially without Kawhi Leonard potentially moving forward because they fear that it has been an ACL injury, and he'll probably miss the rest of at least the Western Conference Finals here, or the Western Conference Series.
And Ross, let me tell you, if he misses the rest of this Western Conference Final Series, he's going to miss the rest of the playoffs because the Clippers won't be there.
They ain't going.
Listen, I will right now, Ross.
Oh, here we go.
If Paul George alone carries the Clippers to the Western Conference Finals, I will write in Sharpie, Paul George is good on my face. But not tattoo. I was gonna say tattoo because
don't tattoo anything on your face. Don't do that. So let's just.
I'm also not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do any of it. But I'm confident that he's not gonna do that.
All right. So I don't have to recap the bet you just made there because you're not gonna do it.
No, well, I'm not gonna have to.
Right.
I'll do something. Not that. I was just thinking off the top of my head.
Yeah, be careful with that. Be careful with that. I mean, this is huge. Like, this is huge. This has finals implication. Like, this is championship implication to lose Kawhi Leonard at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's that's incredible. That's insane.
Yeah.
But well, there's been you know what the crazy part is? That's like one of the lesser impactful stories that came out today.
I know, isn't that insane? Real quick, I want to read off a couple of the changes in championship odds for teams based upon injuries. The Clippers go from plus 550 to plus 1,000 as championship favorites. The Jazz go from plus 340 to plus 250, not just because their potential finals opponent not just because their current opponent, the Clippers, ends up dropping in odds, but because also Chris Paul is out indefinitely during this time because of COVID health and safety protocols. And with that, the Suns odds went from plus 325 to 425. So you're seeing a lot of action in terms of the way that these lines are moving around and the favorites are moving around for championships based upon some of the things we've seen just on the court today. Today's been a wild day. And it gets even crazier because then you look over at the Southwest Conference or the Southwestern Division, and you have the New Orleans Pelicans who moved on from head coach Stan Van Gundy today. And so this is big news for them because that is going to be Zion Williamson's now fifth coach in 5 years, including the last 2 years that because he spent 1 year and then he went 1 year to college and then he had two coaches over the course of 2 different years in the in the NBA, and now he's going to have a third in his third NBA season. So how does this affect the Pelicans? How does this affect Zion?
It depends on who they hire.
Sure.
If it's an internal promotion, like some want it to be, I don't think it's really going to change that much for him. Mm-hmm. If it's a whole nother coach with a whole different situation going on, whole different mindset, whole different vibe to him, it's going to be crazy. But I'll say right now, and I don't think I'm going to be alone on this show. I want it to be Teresa Witherspoon.
Oh, teaspoon all day. Teaspoon all day.
And Ross, get me wrong, but the vibe coming out of New Orleans media is one that is pushing for Teresa Witherspoon. And it's a vibe of people who know more than they're probably allowed to say about the interest level of Teresa Witherspoon.
There's something there. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, her being a serious candidate, which is what everybody's saying, doesn't really translate to her being the coach, right? Mm-hmm. And we know that. And, we can be responsible with our assumptions based upon that. However, even just the news that she's a serious candidate is big, right? Like, because even her being a serious candidate is a big move forward. She's a Hall of Famer. She's a basketball Hall of Famer. She is somebody that has continuously motivated this team. She has served as somebody that has been a leader for young players, including Zion and Kyra Lewis. It makes sense. It makes sense. She would become the first full-time female head coach in the NBA. And that would be a big move for the New Orleans Pelicans, who have a female owner. They have Swin Cash in their front office. Like, there's enough here to say that there's fire where the smoke is in this instance. Mm-hmm. I think I'm not as connected to Pelicans media, right? Like, I'm in New Orleans media, but I'm not as connected to Pelican stuff. But it's interesting. It's really interesting.
Yeah. I wanted to share this clip from your friend Fletcher Mack. Mack. And it's him talking about and them talking about Teresa Witherspoon a couple months ago. It's a couple players mentioning her.
Well, Teaspoon is always, like, I say this a lot, and I'm gonna keep saying it. She's always, whether she's talking to me or whether she's talking to Kyra, she says things that kind of give us confidence. Like, all right, like, kind of take a deep breath, like, read the game and have fun.
All this month here.
Yeah,
that's great.
That seems like someone who has the backing of the players.
Right. Absolutely. And there are a couple of other options out there, right? I mean,
Charles Lee is a name.
Charles Lee. Is that who's with the Bucks?
He's one of the Bucks assistants.
One of the Bucks assistants. Yeah. He was a big name that got thrown around almost immediately. Terry Stotts, is that the right name for the out of Portland?
Yes.
That's an interesting potential one. Becky Hammon is another name that I've seen mentioned. I wouldn't say I've seen connected, but stealing Becky Hammon from the San Antonio Spurs would be pretty dope. Not gonna lie. But I mean, there's a chance here for something that is historic. But in any case, there's a chance here to really make good on what the talent this franchise has, this team has to offer is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's something I'm very excited about.
I remember looking up Charles Lee whenever the Rockets had an opening, and also the last time the Pelicans were hiring a coach.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing
Charles Lee.
last
offseason.
Yeah. There are a couple good Bucks assistants. Darvin Ham, Ime Udoka, I think, is also there still.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to them for stockpiling a bunch of awesome coaches. But yeah, where do you who do you other than Teresa Witherspoon? Do you have a preference?
Becky Hammon. Give me the history, man. Give me the history.
Yeah,
and give me the history in a culture and in an environment that would help support it.
All right, let's also talk about Chris Paul, Ross. Sad day for the Dylan Sanders brand.
Sad day for the Dylan Sanders brand.
Chris Paul out indefinitely with due to COVID protocols, and seeing as though there was one player who's tested COVID positive in the past week, we can assume things maybe that it might be Chris Paul. And if that's true, first things first, get well soon. That's the most important thing.
That's the most important thing.
Be safe,
absolutely.
Get healthy, all that. That aside, is he the most unlucky player in playoffs history?
It has to be. Has to be.
All right.
Can you call him unlucky?
I cannot call him. I don't have his number.
But can we call him unlucky in this specific situation?
It depends on what happened.
I mean, I guess it depends, right? Like, I don't want to make any kind of like rash or weird comments, so I'm not gonna talk about. I'm gonna just be very clear. I'm not gonna talk about vaccination or not.
Yeah.
I don't want to have that conversation. But like, it is a bit of a numbers game, COVID, right? No matter what. Oh man, like what a wild situation. I'm hoping, my hope, and this happened this happened very recently, not too long ago, that it could be another false positive situation, right? And they're waiting to get 2 positive tests. This happened in the MLB or just over the past week and everything. So my hope is that it's that. But man, what an unfortunate situation. That's what it is. What an unfortunate situation.
Yeah. And hopefully, because the playoffs do take a long time, hopefully he doesn't miss too many games.
Yeah.
And hopefully the series isn't over by the time. I'm calling it that Devin Booker is going to at least carry one of the games.
Sure.
Like, carry them to victory. I'm talking 80 bomb. No.
Getting a little big for your britches there, Dylan.
Yeah.
But I could see like a 50-point game between him and Donovan Mitchell just going back and forward.
Mm-hmm. Like, Ross, that series isn't even over yet.
I know, but that series is over.
I could see the Clippers winning another game and going forward. I could see this being a 7-game series even without Kawhi.
Am I talking to the same person that was here like literally 10 minutes ago?
I'm saying I don't think that they can win the playoffs or win this series. I think that they can take a game. I'm Ross. You gotta be right. I also am not that big on the Jazz. I just don't think Paul George can carry a series the rest of the way, but he can win a game.
Well, that's fine, but I thought that the conversation that was just had was, hey, that series isn't over yet. The Clippers could still win the series, is what you were just saying.
No, I think they could win a game and extend the series to Game 7.
Oh, that's fine. I don't care about that. I'm talking about Donovan Mitchell and Devin Booker, who we know are going to be in the Western Conference Finals at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm talking about. So that's where I think you're right regarding Devin Booker, is that if we get another one of those like Jamal Murray, Donovan Mitchell games, but it's Donovan Mitchell and Devin Booker, praise Jesus. Like, I'm happy for that.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if Jeff Green can score like he did yesterday, anything can happen.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible. But no, I'm excited for that series. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm ready for the next round of playoffs.
Yeah. Should the playoffs be 5 games? I don't think so. Like, I think it should still stay 7 games. Like, I know sometimes they can feel arduous, but man, there's nothing like a Game 7.
I agree. Game 5 don't hit the same.
Yeah, and the elimination games in particular.
I could see the first round being a 5 game series.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I would be for that.
Yeah,
I think.
But that would go against what they've done.
A long time.
Yeah, it's just that would go against what they've done with the play-in, which added more games. And one of the reasons why they did the play-in is because they wanted to add more games.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then so you add those games. I mean, I think it would make sense, right? You add the play-in games, but you take away some games when it comes to this first round. That makes sense to me, but I don't know if the NBA is looking to do that.
Yeah, but you pointing out the fact that it makes sense means they'll never do it.
Because the money goes the other way. The money is like, no, have as many games as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes sense. Dylan, the other piece of news that we got this week or today, I keep wanting to say that it was this week because it feels like it has just been so much in the NBA, is Dallas Mavericks general manager Donnie Nelson parts ways with the Mavs. This is pretty big because he's been with the Mavericks for like a very long time.
Yeah, like
24 years of service to the organization, according to Mark Cuban's comments.
He's been a Maverick for as long as I've been alive, for longer than I've been alive.
Right.
Which is crazy. And you too, Ross, because I know you're also 23.
Yes, I am very young and totally not wearing concealer right now. But when it comes to the Dallas Mavericks, like since they won the title, this is per WFAA, since they won the title in 2011, the team's been knocked out of the first round of the playoffs 6 times. In the other 4 seasons, they missed the playoffs. That's not great.
I would say it's the opposite.
That it is great.
The opposite of great.
Oh, it's that it's the opposite. I thought you were just going along with the fact that you hate the Mavericks.
I do,
which I would understand.
I mean, I do. I love seeing some dysfunction. You know what's crazy? I like Mark Cuban. I do not like the Mavericks, though. I don't mind Mark Cuban.
I like Mark Cuban. Question: this comes out? This happens what 2 days after the information comes out about Luka not being happy with Dallas?
You got to assume that they're connected.
Has to be, right?
That front office seems scared of something.
Right.
Do they might know more than we know. They definitely know more than we know.
They definitely know more than we know.
Yeah, but there might be something big brewing there.
Right. I wonder if
all of it is leading to Luka Doncic being a Houston Rocket.
So you think that it was like, as the GM, Donnie Nelson was like, no, I'm not trading Luka Doncic. And then the Dallas Mavericks were like, great, then get up out of here because we'll get somebody in this building that will.
Yeah.
What seems more
to
realistic,
the Houston Rockets.
Specifically why Donnie Nelson wouldn't do it. What seems, let's just say, equally realistic.
Yeah,
another possibility here is that because of the rift that was being created with Luka Doncic, their star player, that Kyle says Luka to the Raptors. because of the rift that was being created, that might be why Donnie Nelson and the Dallas Mavericks have parted ways.
Yeah. And all right, Ross, let's split the likeliness 50-50-50 and go another another direction. And saying that Luka got them to fire him because he wanted to give him an extension, and he is refusing to sign the extension. So the Mavericks were like, well, you can't do it. We'll get someone else to try. But Luka then is still going to deny the extension and then sign a max contract in Houston.
Okay, let's go 50-50-50-50 here.
Yeah.
Right? And go 4 ways and say that maybe Luka got him canned because of the rift and because Donnie Nelson wanted to trade him and to the Rockets. And so Luka was like, no, I don't want to go to the Rockets. I want to stay here. Or I want to go to the...
And just like Sarah, Ross completely drops out of the video feed.
But
I keep thinking I can't do that because the audio side will still hear you.
I have supreme power on the audio side. But here's my thing. Here's my question about this. Does Luka have that pull already? Like, could Luka have that pull already?
Well, did you not hear what Mark Cuban said about Luka and what he would do to get Luka back?
Yes, which is why I'm asking this question and introducing the conversation.
Yes, because
it's an old radio trick.
Listen, Ross, we're doing video now, so we're not radio anymore. So you can't pull the radio tricks. Yes, Mark Cuban, Ross. I don't know if you know this.
This is so quintessential of what this show is, and I love it so much. All right, Mark Cuban said this thing I've never heard before.
What did he say?
Dylan's going to tell me now for the first time.
I'm hearing it now for the first time too. It's in my ear. We got our producers in our ear, feeding it to me. It's an old radio trick to have producers.
Right, it's an old radio trick. Yeah.
Is saying that if he had to choose between Luka and his wife, he would be talking to his lawyers about filing a divorce.
Right. I mean, not right. I mean, what a massively suggestive comment Mark Cuban made days before the situation took place. Oh man. Oh, jeez. I love this show so much. Oh, my cheeks hurt. Oh, all right. Well, we'll see exactly how it all works out. The Mavericks are in the search for a new GM. The Pelicans are in a search for a new head coach. The NBA is in the search for stars over the age of 25. It is going to be a very interesting closeout to the NBA season with the NBA lottery right around the corner, the NBA draft right around the corner, and we're going to have a ton of it all covered here on Dylan and Ross Save Sports. Dylan, you got one more thing before we wrap up?
Yeah, I want to read this quote from Raphael Stone that I just liked.
Please, love Raphael Stone.
From Houston Rockets GM Raphael Stone. Culturally, we want to become a team that is just a bear. You want to be the team on the schedule that people look at their schedule and say, I don't want to do that.
I definitely thought the end of that quote was going to be, that's a bear. But I like this much better. I don't want to do that. That's so good. Dylan, you think we saved sports today?
I don't know, Ross. Speaking of saving sports, how would you say our progress went towards that? It's an old radio trick.
It's an old radio trick. Where you asked me the question, then I asked you.
Yeah.
I think we came very close. I think we still have more work to do, so we'll be back tomorrow to do it. What did we learn today? Old radio tricks.
Old radio tricks.
That's what we learned.
Do you want another old radio trick, Ross?
Yeah.
I love is ending this